Hello and welcome to our Alliance for Entrepreneurs YouTube channel, and I'd like to share with you an interview that will probably move you to the core. As an entrepreneur, you're always looking for the next best idea. And this time, I have a young man who is still in college studying psychology who is aiming to earn $100,000 in the foreseeable future. That's right. He is on track to make $100,000 in his personal earnings, and he's willing to share what he's doing to achieve his goals. And so I'm going to welcome Daniel. I've literally met him at the Columbia Mall. He's set up a kiosk, and he's going to talk about his business and his goals. I believe that Daniel is the most eloquent and sharpest young man I've ever met so far, with tangible written goals. And this is what we always like to emphasize at Alliance for Entrepreneurs, that it is simply not enough to have an idea in your mind, what you want in life, what you want in your personal and professional lives. It is not enough to just have a picture in your head. You have to write things down. You have to commit it to paper. And today, Daniel is going to share with us all what he currently does and his bigger picture, his plans, and how he's going to reach his goals. Daniel, I'm so glad you've cordially agreed to be interviewed for our YouTube audience. And please tell our audience about how you like the crowd tonight at the Columbia Mall, and what exactly do you offer to your customers?
I love the Columbia Mall. It's always such a diverse crowd. The conversations that I've had are always engaging, and it's a great experience to work at the Columbia Mall. The product that I offer, it's a line of high quality kitchen cutlery, as well as other various kitchen utensils. We carry pots and pans, we carry flatware, we carry garden tools, we do carry a line of hunting equipment. However, it's mostly based around knives and cutlery, and we've been around since 1949. We're made in Olean, New York, and the product is all guaranteed forever. Like I said, it's very high end, and so it's one of those products where once you have it the rest of your life. So you're investing in your kitchen, in your health, in saving time, in a better cooking experience, and a healthier lifestyle overall.
Well, that's fantastic, Daniel. You know, when we started talking earlier, you came across as very authentic, genuine, and, quite frankly, I've never heard such a pitch before from any other salespeople. You're very genuine and very coherent. You're very consistent and persuasive at the same time. Please tell our audience how long ago you started selling Cutco products and how exactly you got started. What prompted you to get involved in selling Cutco products?
I actually began about 4.5 years ago in 2014. My family bought a set of Cutco knives when I was about 10 years old, and so I grew up with the product. I was very familiar with it. I use it every day when I would cook, because I occasionally cooked for the family, and so it was not something that I was unfamiliar with. I actually used to work at a restaurant, and I hated every minute of it. I'm a very hard worker. I have a strong work ethic, and the people who worked next to me at this restaurant often didn't work as hard, but made the same amount. And I thought, I could really put my work ethic and my skills to better use to not only increase my income, but also to have a better outlet for what I was going for, what I was striving to attain. And so that gave me the motivation to pursue some sort of sales job. In my situation back then, my older brother actually worked with the company as well, and he was the one who set me up with the interview and set me up with the process of becoming a Cutco representative. So that was back in the fall of 2014.
I have to tell you, Daniel, your sales skills are superb. And obviously our audience and I would like to know, who trained you exactly? Where did you acquire your salesmanship, your sales skills? Were you trained by Cutco, or did you learn on your own?
I was trained by one of the managers in the company. He is based out of Denver, Colorado, and he's one of the top managers in our company. He sent me, he had actually just pre-recorded several training videos, and he sent those training videos to me. It took me about a full weekend to entirely watch the whole series of training videos. It was several hours long, And the training videos covered everything from sales skills to people skills. At the end of the training, the manager had actually mailed me what we call the manual, and the manual is essentially the script that we use in our demonstrations. And the representatives, when you first begin, were instructed to read from the manual. And so it's a very simple facilitation into becoming a sales representative. But that was the initial point when I started to become a Cutco representative, was through those training videos, and then as well through the manual and some of the other resources that the manager had mailed to me.
Now, the most important question, Daniel, everybody wants to know, in your business, what is the maximum potential? What is the cap? How much could you earn at the very most if you committed full-time selling Cutco products?
I'm actually a full-time student right now, and my job is limited currently to, I mostly work in the summer. It's a side note, but that's one of the nice things about owning a business is you can control your schedule. However, if I was not in school, every year I usually have an increase in my sales because I never stop growing and I never stop refining my sales skills and accumulating knowledge that will help in the sales process. However, if I graduated tomorrow, I think that I think I could easily make about $100,000 in 2019 as a full-time Cutco representative. Since I'm a full-time student, I don't have the entire time to devote to that, but once I graduate, I could easily see myself making six figures right off the bat.
Daniel, I want to thank you for your time and for agreeing to do this interview, because I think it's very important that we all share our experiences, and our audience, I'm sure, would appreciate what you have shared with us today. And as a closing remark, what could you tell to that young entrepreneur that right now is watching you and thinking about starting his own business or her own business? Would you say that it's not for everyone, or anyone and everyone could become an entrepreneur, be self-employed, and earn a living and could support themselves?
Absolutely. I would say two things. Number one, you have to know your why. What I mean by that is, I call it the North Star. You have to know what you're going for. You have to know what's pulling you. You have to have a reason that runs very deep with you, that's very personal, that pulls you along. Because in a regular 9-to-5 job, a regular 9-to-5 job, you have a lot of security. However, with that security comes stability, and that stability is a very good thing. It has one downside, and that is that your income is based on the amount of hours that you put in, which is usually 40 per week. However, you could work much harder than your coworker and still make the same. Or controversially, you could work much less than your coworker and still make the same, less hard. However, when being an entrepreneur, it's sort of like a roller coaster. It goes up and down and up and down. And so through that whole process, there's not a whole lot of stability. Your income will vary month to month, especially as you're first starting out. It's going to be very small. So you have to have something that's very deep, very personal, that pulls you towards your goal. Whatever it is, if you're starting a company, maybe it's online, if you're actually becoming an independent contractor with another company like I am, or if you are just starting your own business. Whatever it is, there's always a big risk factor. And so in order to push through the inevitable obstacles, you have to have something that's pulling you. We call it kind of a metaphysical approach to sales, is you have to have something that's deep within you that you know is why you're doing what you're doing and it's pulling you. It's not just about money. It could be, but it has to be something that's much more very specific and very personal for you. For me, currently, it's to continue my education without any debt. So far, I'm a second semester junior in college. I have a year and a half left, and so far so good. However, school's very expensive, and so I work every summer with the mindset and the intention, that metaphysical approach, like I said. What pulls me is the desire to complete my education without running into debt. So you have to find, that's the first thing, is you have to find your North Star. You have to find your why. The second thing I would say, you have to expect failure. You've probably heard in just day-to-day life with, maybe you watch some videos or just in regular conversation with people, that failure is part of life. What I want to say is I want to even hone in a little bit deeper. You can't just think, oh, it's some arbitrary part of life. Maybe it happens to me, maybe it doesn't. You have to expect failure. You have to expect it early, and you have to expect it often. If failure comes and you do not expect it, it has the potential of crippling you. However, when failure comes, which it will, if you view it as not a failure, but as a setback, what you can do is you can take what you learn, because we always learn a lesson when we fail. You can take what you learn, you can apply it, you can get back up, and you can recommit. And the key is to being successful as an entrepreneur is having both those two things in unison. That's the recipe. Because if you just have a North Star and you don't take action when you fall, you won't be successful. If you don't have a North Star, even if you take action when you fall, eventually you're gonna dry up, you're gonna lose motivation, and you're not gonna be successful. However, when you have a why or a North Star and you expect to fail, every time you fail, you will get back up because the why is pulling you, and you will continue and you will push past that obstacle and you will grow from it. It's almost like vaccines. When someone gets injected with the vaccine, the bacteria that's in the vaccine goes into the body, and the body actually reacts negatively to it as if it were a disease, and creates antibodies to help protect the body from that particular disease, from the signature of that disease. So when that disease actually comes, if it's the flu, your body has a defense for it. That's the way you should view failure. When you experience failure, you're getting a vaccine of failure, and you can control the antibodies that you develop to counteract that failure. And when you counteract that failure, what happens when it's pulling you with the why, when you're being pulled by your why, what happens is over and over and over again, you get caught up, you fall down, you get back up, you fall down and you get back up, but eventually you reach your goal. And those two things, once again, you have to have a why and you have to expect to fail. And if you have those two things, you will be successful.
Well, Daniel, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Take care, and I wish you all the best. And to our audience, I hope you enjoyed tonight's interview with Daniel. I hope you were inspired and motivated. I hope you could learn a few new things from his experience, from his perspective. I have no doubt that Daniel will reach all of his goals if he stays committed. He'll have the support group around him of loyal friends and business supporters or mentors even. And of course, we wish him all the best, and we'll stay in touch. Until the next interview, we'll see you at the very top.